Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nile Wilson, and I'm 26 years young. For those that don't know, I'm an ex-artistic gymnast. By the age of 20, I became an Olympic and world medalist, multiple European and Commonwealth champion. I was also responsible for one of the UK's fastest growing YouTube channels, which reached 1.5 million subscribers and 350 million views worldwide. Off the back of my platform, I also managed to build a handful of multi-six-figure businesses, typically in a sport where there is zero commercial opportunity. Not to mention, I'm devilishly good-looking, super intelligent, and just an all-round top lad from Yorkshire. Sorry, I actually just want to restart that. I missed a couple of important things out. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nile Wilson. I suffer badly from depression. I broke my neck doing the sport that I love. I'm self-destructive. Competing at the highest level of sport, I spent 4 to 5 nights a week in the casino alone. Once I drink alcohol, I struggle to stop for days, even weeks at a time. I've been unfaithful to previous girlfriends. I smoke cigarettes. I struggle to eat and sleep. I'm currently serving a 12-month driving ban. And I often feel lost in life after retirement. You didn't see that one coming, did you? My mum's already crying. We're not even 2 minutes in. And I'm not wearing a watch. Okay, it took a lot of courage for me to say that. And it's the reason I'm stood here today. For the extreme facts in those 2 introductory statements, what I believe and through my experience is that they're all for the same reason. What can be our strengths can quickly turn into our weaknesses. And you've often seen, maybe some of you have seen, a similar picture and story to what I've just painted, where a superstar, a millionaire, a professional athlete has fallen off the rails, battled mental health addiction. And nowadays, well, forever really, it's portrayed in the media, we can all see it. And lots of the general public, including myself, point to that person and go, idiot. Do they know how great their life is? What are they doing? And that's what happened to me. I'd love to take you back a little bit, tell a little bit of my story, and maybe some of the inputs, the dynamics, the influences, the environment of my life that maybe led to the success, a derailment, and eventually my retirement. So when I was a kid, I used to watch the Disney film Lion King every single night, without fail, for about 6 months. How old was I, Dad? 3 years old. If you missed that. 3 years old, maybe the first signs that I was showing I was obsessive. I was obsessed with that film. I was Simba. Hakuna Matata. Follow Rafiki, know the way. Shut up, Nile. You've been for 18 minutes, man. Quoting Lion King. I loved sport. I started gymnastics when I was 4 years old. I vividly remember playing sports with my dad every single day. We would always make it a competition. An important point, he'd never let me win. Never let your kids win, he'd say. So I developed this hunger for competing. I was desperate to win. And it was always going to be gymnastics. From the moment I woke up in the morning to the minute I went to sleep, I could not stop thinking about gymnastics. I was obsessed. When YouTube became a thing in 06 or 07, I watched every single video that was ever put on the platform. Not to mention, the sport that I chose, there was quite a bit of risk and fear involved. You know, from 9 years old, you're swinging around a steel bar 3 meters off the ground. To be as flexible and as strong as we needed to be, it wasn't sunshine and rainbows, watching Gogglebox with your friends having a laugh. It was blood, sweat, tears, and pain. So I'm obsessive, I'm a competitor, and I'm a risk taker. I'm also taking risks every day and continuing despite negative consequences. You can see where I'm going with this. Also, at such a young age, you put in this one thing ahead of every aspect of your life. It's more important than school and education. It's more important than socializing and your friends. It's even more important than family. Speaking of friends and family, my team are here, my squad are here today. Let's go. Get up. Get up. My dad always tells this story. We were at a Christmas dinner at the army barracks. My granddad was in the parachute regiment. He was in charge. Formal dinner, hundreds of people. I was backflipping all over the place, causing havoc. And my granddad's come over. He's gone and spoke to my dad. He said, Neil, you're going to have to sort Niall out. He's danced around like a monkey. And I've spoke to him. He said, "Grandad, I'm showing off." My dad's response was, "Yeah, I always told Nile and Joanna to show off." You know, it's that previous generations where kids should be seen and not heard. Stop showing off. Pack it in. Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. So fortunate enough, I had an unbelievable family that instilled positivity into me and my sister and created a show-off and a performer. So I was obsessive, I was a competitor, I was a risk-taker, and I was a show-off. We didn't know it at the time, but spelling that out, it sounds like a pretty good concoction to create a champion and maybe an addict. Okay, fast forward. I'm pretty good at roly-polies and cartwheels now. I'm 14 years old. I'm on the national team. I've won numerous British titles. I've competed internationally for my country, lots. In the Czech Republic, loads of times. No one here from Czech. Tough crowd. You know, things were great. Also at 14 years old, I saw a nutritionist. And when you want to be the best, you listen to everything that spoke to you. Anything that's going to give you a competitive edge. And nutrition was one of those things. So I listened. I lost a couple of kilos. I felt stronger. It was great. I could train harder for longer. Started winning more gold medals. Fantastic. As time went on, this obsessive nature I have that we know I have, I became fixated on becoming lighter. I thought the lighter I got, the better at gymnastics I would get. And weeks and months go by. All of a sudden, I've lost 10 kilos in the space of 2.5 months, 1.5 stone that I didn't have to lose. I became fixated on calories, the volume. I would never finish a meal. Little did I know, I was developing an eating disorder. And I developed this toxic cycle of deprive, starve, and then binge. I would release, binge, starve, binge, starve. And it was difficult. And I think that's a great highlight of something that starts off as a strength, a competitive edge, something really positive, with all the personality traits that I've described can turn into something that's quite negative. And it gained control over me. I controlled my nutrition. The obsessive nature controlled me. And maybe at that age I was struggling to have the tools and techniques to know how to deal with that. Okay, fast forward again, I'm now 18. I'm doing some pretty cool stuff in gymnastics world now. I've made history at the Junior Europeans, winning 5 gold medals. I shocked the world at the Commonwealth Games. I made history again at the World Championships, making a high bar final at just 18 years old. Brilliant. Also at 18 years old, I discovered alcohol and gambling. Oh dear. Oh dear. This wasn't good for this little old brain. The existence a professional athlete lives is quite unusual. It's like walking a tightrope. The narrow-mindedness, the discipline, the focus, the graft. I describe it as like this pressure cooker. And you're constantly building up. And then all of a sudden you just need this release and boom. And partying, just like the food, was a good way to do that. So of course, when I went on a night out, it wasn't to have a good time. Well, sometimes it was. But I brought the same intensity to that. It was like a competition. It was a mission. I wanted to win. I wanted to be the best at drinking as well. And gambling was a tough one for me. I think gambling is a silent killer for athletes because there's no physiological effects as a consequence of gambling. I binged over the weekend. I'd be 5 kilos heavier. I'd struggle to perform. I'd go on a big night out. I'd be hungover, feel sick, sleep deprived, struggle to perform. I could spend 5 hours in the casino spinning the roulette wheel. And besides the horrific guilt and shame the next day, for the most part, I could perform to the best of my ability. Success can be as scary as failure. The Olympics is an event that someone like me and tens of thousands of others dream of their entire life. The whole life dedicated to this moment. And absolutely nothing can prepare you for what follows. I'm just a normal lad from Leeds. I like gymnastics. I work hard. Then all of a sudden, my life's changed forever. You know, not to mention, it's difficult to put into words to describe how it feels to perform at that event. 20,000 people screaming, the buzz around it, 10 million people tuning in back home. It's like this melting pot of the strongest human emotions you could ever imagine, just exploding inside your belly all at once. And some of the greats, the Michael Phelps of this world, have talked a lot about the Olympic come down, the Olympic depression. And believe me, this is very, very real. We've all had the holiday blues, but imagine this specific holiday you've dedicated your whole life towards, and you go, and it's just as good, if not better, than you ever dreamed. How can you imagine life after that? And I remember quite an emotional moment for me where I was sat in the kitchen at home a couple of days after the games, and I'm a bit like, what now? You know, life goes on. There's still the same channels on the TV. Dad's still gone to work early. And I remember my mum just calling over to me. She said, "Nile, please will you help me empty the dishwasher?" And I just lost it. It broke down. Tears. I cried and I cried and I cried. Empty the dishwasher. 3 days earlier, I was David Beckham. Now you want me to put some cutlery back in the drawer? And I believe everyone in this room will have a dishwasher moment in life, where it's a job loss, a divorce, a breakup, a bereavement. And it's not the dishwasher itself, it's our attitude towards that. And that's created by conditioning, by thoughts, beliefs, that develops overwhelming feelings, positive and negative, and then reflects our behavior. So obviously, after the dishwasher, for 12 weeks straight, I partied, chased women, and gambled. And you look at that, I was scared, my family was scared. And I think in order to change a behavior, we need to really understand what's driving it. Also, we're made to believe that the thing, the medal, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the new job, the house, the car, the watch, those are the things that are going to make us happy in life. I thought, Olympic medal, my problems would be answered, I'd live out happily ever after. I can categorically tell every single person in this room that that shiny object sat at home on my mantelpiece collecting dust. When I look at it today, it gives me absolutely zero emotion whatsoever. It's the journey where we find fulfillment. And those that are the happiest, I think, are doing something that they actually enjoy to do with the people they want to do it with. Forget money, forget materials. Find out what it is that you like and do that. So why have I said all this? Hopefully I described and you understand a little bit of the duality of my personality and how extreme it could be. And maybe you're like me. Maybe you're connected with some of the stories that I've told today. Maybe you're completely different to me, but you know some of your strengths, you know some of your weaknesses. Maybe you've never thought about yourself in that way ever before, and I encourage you to do so. And I'm still young. I'm still making mistakes every day. But the only answer I've got stood here is for us to embrace, understand, and accept who we are. I tried my whole life to find balance. I was told, "Nile, you need to be more balanced." It's absolutely impossible for me. And you know what? That's all right. Because when something lights me on fire inside, I'm going to be the best in the world at it. But when I experience a little bit of pain, when I maybe engage in some toxic behaviors, the reality is I'm not just going to have one drink. But that's okay, because I take 100% ownership of my decisions and take responsibility for my behavior. I think professional sport is incredible. It's the best thing in the world. It's going to breed legends. It's going to breed champions. But I'm comfortable to stand here today, and it may shock you, and say that the vast majority of professional athletes, men and women, will struggle with their mental health in some way, shape, or form. I'm obviously very passionate about this with the story I've told you. And I don't think there's going to be a magic pill, something that's going to sort it out straight away. Everyone's got to go on their own journey. But I think step number one is talking about it and understanding it, all of us. Maybe next little Johnny that comes through might not have to experience some of the pain that I did. So who are you? Do you know your strengths and weaknesses? Do you know who you are? I do now. And sometimes we have to go through pain and make some mistakes to learn and grow. And I think if young 18-year-old Nile Wilson was sat on the front row, I'd probably say to him, strap yourself in, boy. You're in for a ride. You're going to have tons of opportunities. Grab them with both hands. Smash it. Enjoy it. Stay humble. Remember where you came from. But even when you think it, and you will think it, you will never, ever be defined by your gymnastic success, by how popular you are, and how much money you've got in the bank. You will only ever be defined by the person you are and how you treat people. So hi, I'm Nile Wilson. I'm a champion. I'm also an addict. I love who I am. I've no idea what the future holds. But I know my journeys of ups and downs are both equally as important. Thank you.